And we are here at the Gathering in a Swindon near field Christian Vision for Men with some lovely, lovely people that we've chatted to, some interviews that we've got for you coming up in the next few weeks. We've met some amazing exhibitors. The food's been splendid. And we've got more interviews to come for you in the next 3 hours, broadcasting to you live from the Gathering 2024, including my friend Ken. Hello, Ken.
Hey, Andy. How are you?
Yeah, I got a cup of tea. I've had food, so it's good. Now, you are a voice that people may have heard. Let's just start with the Gathering, which is where we are, and we'll move on to other stuff. So, why have you come to the Gathering this year?
So I came last year to help Steve Legg from Sorted Mag. Steve, that's one of the exhibitors, and came down to help him out at his stand, and I was asked to do a GP surgery when I was here. And this year we're doing the same thing, but we're also I did a seminar talk this afternoon on mental health, men's mental health.
Which I've had a chat with a few people around here who talk about how they can feel. I mean, isolated might be a bit strong, but for them, this is such an important moment through the year because they get to connect with guys they don't normally see. And what I'm seeing are just guys just hanging around, chilling out and chatting, which can only be a good thing, especially for men. And let's be honest, we're not necessarily the easiest at being forthcoming with our emotions.
No, men are notoriously poor at talking about emotions. They're notoriously poor about coming forward for any health matters. So when you add health matters and emotion and mental health, it's a bit of a nightmare for us GPs. But today was about, or this weekend is really about guys getting together, the opportunity to hang out and trying to get them to chat and chat better and learn how to chat more effectively.
Just behind where you're sitting, there's some guy doing some remote control tanks. And I love the fact that I was chatting with him about his heart and passion. He says, I can't really do much. I wasn't like your classic gifting in churches, but he had a passion for tanks, remote control. That grew, that got better. And then over time, that's now something he uses to engage with guys in churches. And I love how God uses who we are for him, remote control tanks. For you, it's your medical background. So let's just delve into that a little bit. You're a GP. Where did that start for as a journey for you?
I've been a GP for quite a long time now. I'm 61 now, and I've been doing 86. I qualified, so whatever that is, 38 years. Not always a GP, but been a GP for probably about 15 years altogether. And I just have particular interest and passion for men's health. I work in a small practice. There's two of us. My partner is a female. She deals with mainly the women's health stuff, and I get to see the men for various men's problems, put it that way, which is good.
I do remember going to see my GP once. I had this mole thing on my inner thigh, and I thought, well, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't look right. And I went in. He got very excited. He says, I've never seen one here. Let me go and get my colleagues. And then this procession of doctors came to him and said, this is fascinating. Do you have that kind of a thing where I just thought it was a lump? It was actually a little blood vessel thing that came to the surface, but he said it shouldn't be there. That's really exciting.
Yeah. That occasionally happens. Yeah, I call my other partner in, or she calls me in and says, what do you think about this? Well, I thought it might be this. Yeah, it could be, or it could be that. And yeah, it's great. It's just about working together. And we both bring something different to the party, as they say. And it's, some of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Isn't that true? I don't know how true it is that two people can lift a piano, but two people can't lift two halves of a piano. In my head, I'm not sure that's actually right, but I think that's true. We work better together when we're doing stuff. Another one of the hats that you wear, aside from being a GP up in Scotland, is that you write for Sorted magazine, which you've mentioned Steve Legg, who's a mutual friend. So what is your role for him with that magazine?
So, Sorted Men's Mag, fantastic, wholesome men's magazine. I write the health article. It comes out the magazine comes out every 2 months. I do the health article, and we cover all sorts of things. So it's great, love it. It's my way of making a small contribution.
You say you've been a doctor for quite a number of years. Where does faith fit into what you do? I mean, what's your journey of faith? I try to draw this out of people, but is yours, late on conversion? Is it a church background? Is it a Damascus thing? What's your story of faith?
So, it's very much a church background. background, my parents were both Christian. We went to church from a very young age. I probably went, like a lot of folk, when I was a student, fell away a bit, and then it's an ongoing journey. Never quite certainly not perfect, and never will be until the final day. But it's an integral part of what I do and who I am. As a GP or as a doctor, we're not allowed. The General Medical Council doesn't allow us to initiate conversation about faith issues. If someone brings it up, then I can get into a conversation with them about it, but we're just not allowed to initiate it. But very much it's an integral part of who I am, what I do, and how I do things.
Have you had situations? I mean, I'm guessing, I'm not trying to set you up for something here, but have you had situations where you're stuck with something and you don't know what else to do? So do you pray? I mean, is that something you eventually think, do you know what? Or is it more you go into every day thinking, I'm going to ask God to help me get through this?
Yeah, I mean, it takes me about 25 minutes to drive to work in the morning. And I usually have radio or just quiet time in the car. And I pray just that God would just, help me to make good decisions, would give me wisdom. There are times when I think, I just don't know what's going on here. And I suppose I'm old enough and stupid enough to go tell my patient I'm not sure what's going on. I think honesty is always best. And they I think most of them appreciate the fact that you go, I don't know everything. I usually know where I can find the information out or who I need to send you to see. And that's the basis on which I do it. So.
I think it's a good attitude, though, isn't it? That before you get to work, you've actually covered your day in prayer, your work in prayer, and rather than just arriving and it's gone mad and okay, I'll get to work and then I'll pray. But actually, if you pray on the way, then you can't have that stolen because you're walking into a crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. It sets me up for the day. It's great. Love it. Thoroughly enjoy it.
Fab. Now, one of the things I do know about you, which I've always wanted to ask you about, is I always see that you're into dressmaking. Which throws me because I have to think, is it actually making dresses or is it sort of a wider interest in clothing generally?
Yeah, so the dressmaking is a term for people who make clothes, basically. So, yes, I make dresses. I made my wife's wedding dress. I make shirts. I'm wearing one today. I've made one for Steve. I make, men's and women's clothing. And I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a passion I have now.
When I was at secondary school, we were being taught how to use a sewing machine, and we had to learn how to get the cotton through and the bobbin and all that stuff. And I remember, for some reason, I just picked it up. I understood it, and it all worked. But there was one of the girls who was really cross. She said, "He's a boy; he shouldn't do this. I'm a girl; I should." And she got very angry about it because then the teacher said, "Oh, great, you can't do it. Let's let Andrew teach you how to do it." Which, one of those things. I was like, first year at secondary school. Could you set me up worse for what's coming?
Not cool at all. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would say it's not a very manly thing to do. I don't care. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's something I took up later in life. I was probably I'm part of a kind of sewing group, and I think I might be either the only guy or one of two guys in a group of about 100 and odd others. But it's great. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's so creative. I wear the stuff I make. Other people wear it, and I get so much enjoyment from it. I find it so relaxing to do. So,
two stories that come to mind. One is a friend of mine who used to hand stitch curtains for somebody, and I said, "Doesn't that get repetitive and really boring?" She said, "No, it's really good because you have to be really exact with the stitches because people are paying extra for the hand stitching, and it's got to be good." And she used to love it. But I've just bought a second-hand sewing machine, and I'm super excited because I've made tablecloths in the past, and I really enjoy that sort of thing. And I want to make some more stuff like that because I love the process of the sewing machine and producing something that maybe you're fixing something or repairing something or creating something brand new. I just find it ridiculously enjoyable.
Yeah, as do I. Whether it's piece of fabric. I mean, we've been to Spain recently. I bought some fabric over there and made my dad's in his 80s, made him a short sleeve summery shirt. And he was absolutely over the moon about it. And I love doing it. he gives me trousers that he buys. They don't fit me anymore. I can adjust them. Yeah, it's really it's how I relax.
My granddad actually used to work for a cotton mill, and I've got with me actually here on site a towel that he was responsible for designing for the British Army in the Second World War. It goes back a long time. And we bought recently it's like a microfiber towel thing, and it's okay. But I prefer my granddad's towel that he was involved in making in Manchester, because he designed it for it to function, and it still outbeats. 50 years old, this towel. It's still better than a brand new microfiber cloth.
Yeah, absolutely. I go shopping every now and again, and I've got to the stage now where I look at clothing in a shop and you think, that's really not very well made at all. And it's not actually well made at all. It's dirt cheap because it's made in a factory somewhere by people that are getting paid diddly squat, and it's not good quality. And I much prefer. I'm not into fast fashion because I'll get lots to wear out of my shirts and trousers and shorts and whatnots, and hopefully other people will get to enjoy them as well.
Good man. I love that you actually made your wife's wedding dress. That I saw a picture of it and thought, wow, that's really cool. I would never have known that one, it was handmade, but I just how lovely a gift is that?
Yeah, so it's a kind of unusual thing to do. She chose the pattern and she chose the fabric, and we had quite a few back and forward about it needs a bit adjustment here and adjustment there, but it was the final result was absolutely fantastic, and she loved it, and she looked absolutely beautiful. So
yes, well, we say that as husbands, but of course you would, right? But I think it's true. I can see your face; it's true. And thank you, Ken, for joining us, and thank you for doing what you're doing here at the gathering. What's the magazine? Sorted Magazine. What's the website for that?
It's sortedmag.com, I think it is. Yep.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will definitely also endorse this. We get it as a family. My wife, my 13-year-old, my 18-year-old, my 20-year-old, and myself at nearly 50. We're all grabbing for it because it is just brilliant. So if you haven't got that, go to sortedmag.com and buy the magazine. Dr. Ken, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to meet you again. And have a great rest of your day.
My pleasure. And thank you for all you do as well.
Did you know Pure 24/7 Radio has a shop? Well, we do. You can buy merchandise while supporting the work that we do here. Simply head over to www.pure247radio.org/shop. That's www.pure247radio.org/shop.